very crowded terrace gallery. Dennis Crow's just, well, if he hadn't got a helmet on, he'd be scratching his nose, wouldn't he? But can't scratch your nose when you've got your helmet on, Dennis. But Clark 420 in shot, as he was moments ago. Clark 420, Alex Roughton, but Alex starting on the 7th row. And right at the back, 422, Christoph Adams. That's a sad sight because Christoph a very, very good driver, but that's the way the racing goes. Beginning to get a little bit nervous myself. What must these drivers be feeling? We're racing, and Dennis Croce gets a good start, but Claudio Piazzamusso was more or less meeting him, but the right-hand bend has to favour the pole position man, and Dennis Croce converts that. And in fact, Patrick Vasterman has gone into 2nd place, with Colin Davis 3rd, and Claudio Piazzamusso back in 4th place, as they go to the N75 hairpin for the first time of 17 and onto the far straight. This is a long back straight. It's the N75 roadway between Genk and Aaz, which is outside of the circuit here. The right turn into the chicane, and Dennis Croce has converted his pole position into an early lead. Colin Davis through into 2nd place at the expense of Patrick Vasterman. Patrick Vasterman fighting back. You see Claudio Piazzamusso in 4th place, and Vasterman there making a gesture almost as if to say go through. Well, if that was the gesture, may have been that Patrick Vasterman thought that he'd unfairly balked Piazzamusso, and in a very sporting gesture said, look, I don't want to damage your hopes, go through. At the end of lap 1 of 17, Dennis Croce leads. Colin Davis is in 2nd place. Now, what an astonishing statistic to tell you. Sorry, I said it's Colin Davis in 2nd place. There's cart number 429. Cart 429, I think, which is 428, Jerome Boucard. It's just not his day, is it? Not his day. I was saying Colin Davis in 2nd place. It's little Danny, isn't it? Le Petit Danny of France. It's Danny Morisseau in 2nd place. Cart number 426. Is that rather than 424? I think so. 425 going through is Junpei Takayama, the Japanese driver who's driving with quite severely damaged ribs. He doesn't want me to say that because he doesn't want it to be offered as an excuse, but I promise you that he is not going at all well because of those damaged ribs. 38 years old, said that he was 28 in one of the earlier commentaries, but there is Dennis Croce, cart number 416 in the comfortable lead. The statistic that surprised me was that after just 1 lap, Dennis Croce had opened up a 1-second gap. I think that was perhaps because with Danny Morisseau going past Claudio Piazzamusso, maybe that gave a bit of breathing space. Yes, that's the answer, because Dennis Croce's lead is a little bit less now, 0.926 of a second. Dennis Croce leading from Danny Morisseau. Looking down the field, Christoph Adams has already worked himself up to 11th. Marjolein Ansems in 12th position. So Dennis Croce leads and his girlfriend is 12th. Can't be bad, can it? Do feel sorry for Jerome Boucard, but well, there we are, that is racing. Cart number 444 is Didier Extale, Belgian driver making his Euro Challenge debut. He's putting the pressure on Junpei Takayama and blasting past him immediately. 446, Luc van Hemmeldonk. Well, Luc van Hemmeldonk is a Belgian driver having his first ever drive in the Rotax Euro Challenge, and I've been impressed with him, only running in something like 9th position at present, but pretty useful. So on the final bend, the race leader comes into view on our television screen. He dips his head against the wind resistance. It's Dennis Croce. Dennis Croce leading from Danny Morisseau, Claudio Piazzamusso 3rd, Colin Davis 4th. Tell you a little, and that's a good battle, isn't it? 440 is Claudio Piazzamusso going past Danny Morisseau. Danny Morisseau being passed by Claudio Piazzamusso and immediately coming under pressure from Colin Davis, and Colin Davis goes through. Well, poor Danny Morisseau didn't do an awful lot wrong, did he? But he's gone from 2nd to 4th for not doing anything particularly wrong. But Claudio Piazzamusso, the world champion of 2002, I say a wily old bird, mustn't keep saying that, he's not that old, and he's a good friend of mine, and if I keep calling him a wily old bird, maybe the friendship will get thinned out a little bit. Colin Davis in cart 424 driving that Tony kart for Richard Peake Racing. Richard Peake is here supporting Colin. Richard Peake indeed has been very, very much a strong supporter of Colin Davis to go for this championship. Colin Davis at the moment in a useful position to gain the championship victory, but let's concentrate on this. Oh, everybody watching at home on television, didn't you see there, people watching on the television screens here at Karting Genk, you take a momentary lapse of concentration and glance over your shoulder, and what's the result of it? You get past. I think that was Alain Bazard of Belgium just glancing over his shoulder, and Mark Leon said, well, if you're not going to look where you're going, I'll go past you. Dennis Kroos leads from Claudio Piazzamusso. Colin Davis, the would-be champion, is in 3rd place. Danny Morrisseau now 4th. Christoph Adams is up to 11th place. And Pedro Lores, well done Pedro, running 12th. Oh, Colin Davis's championship hopes have gone. Colin Davis, the Richard Peak entrant, has gone off the circuit on the 5th lap. I'm sure it was a mechanical problem rather than an accident. Oh dear, Colin Davis, who has worked very, very hard for this championship. It looks to me as if that was a problem that was caused by a mechanical situation. Well, we have a domestic announcement to make, so if you hear that in the background, that's what that's about. But oh dear, the gentleman in your shot is Colin Davis. Colin, we feel for you, because Colin Davis has to reflect on the fact that he was the best placed of the championship contenders, and it just hasn't happened. It just hasn't happened. Well, Claudio Piazzamusso is now in 2nd. Well, he was in 2nd place before, but the point is he doesn't have Colin Davis attacking him for the championship behind him. Dennis Kroos, the race leader, is in shot now, and that is cart number 424, isn't it? Cart 424. Sorry, not 44, 434. Cart number 434, if I'm reading that correctly. No, don't think I am. It's Marioline, isn't it? Oh, it's the girlfriend of Dennis, 421. Well, Marioline Ansems, I promise you, is a good driver, but things have gone wrong for her at this meeting. And there she is, if you'll pardon the expression, in the long grass here at karting Genk. There's her boyfriend. Hope Dennis doesn't spot Marioline and wonder if something's seriously wrong, because Claudio Piazzamusso is taking closer order. As you can see from the screen, we're at the 1/3 race distance, because coming to the end of the 6th lap and to start the 7th lap, coming to the end of the 7th lap to start the 8th lap, and we're moving towards the halfway point, which would be after 8.5 laps. There's the distance between 1 and 2. Dennis Kroos. Well, if Dennis sees Marioline, no doubt Marioline will want to indicate to him that she's perfectly okay, nothing to get troubled about. Dennis Kroos goes round the paddock bend. There's Marioline Ansems walking onto the infield, totally unhurt. Pretty lady, blonde-haired lady. And well, I spent some time about a month ago in Amsterdam with Marioline Ansems and Dennis Kroos, so I'm very, very sorry to see Marioline having those misfortunes. Pleased for Dennis, but then I'm a good friend of Claudio Piazzamusso. Spoke to his mum earlier in the race meeting, spoke to his dad Giovanni, and Giovanni, well, if Claudio Piazzamusso is a wily old bird, 68-year-old Giovanni Piazzamusso is an even wilier old bird, because not much passes him. Well, Dennis Kroos has the lead over Claudio Piazzamusso, but Claudio is posting the fastest lap, 58.354. Dennis has done 58.59, Claudio 58.354, and we've got half a race distance to go. The 2 race leaders are coming onto the home straight, and you would have to say that Claudio Piazzamusso is getting closer. Half a second, 0.505 seconds. Oh, and Dennis, a marginal error there, and I think that's got Claudio even closer. Claudio Piazzamusso, born of Italian parents. Giovanni moved to South Africa years ago, and Claudio brought up in South Africa. Giovanni speaks with a nice Italian accent, Giovanni with a strong South African accent. Well, somebody who speaks with a Dutch accent is Dennis Kroos, and Dennis is feeling the heat, isn't he? Dennis is feeling the pressure from Claudio Piazzamusso.